Prawn here with some tips and tricks that you might have missed in Starfield. Now, you know that sleeping gives you an XP bonus, but did you know that tea does as well? As a Brit, I find this a fantastic option for boosting your experience. Drink some tea and you get 2% XP gain for 15 minutes. Combine this with sleeping and you obviously get extra. So you can see that in the status menu there. So get some tea, drink it, and then expand the British Empire throughout the known universe. The next thing you know is that sometimes you can fight and attack ships in space, then you can dock with said ships and kill everyone on board and then take the ship for yourself. One of the things you may find, though, is that sometimes you dock a ship and sadly you can't actually take it because it's part of a mission. You're basically rescuing somebody, or the person has just landed the ship and they're trying to repair it, and actually you don't necessarily want to kill them, you just want to help them out. So you cleared all the pirates of the ship, and then you've got a captain there who's just minding his own business. In this instance, I haven't quite killed everybody on the ship, so the captain goes off to deal with the rest of them, and then I realised what I could do is just rob him blind while he's not looking. So if you're in the cockpit of the ship, you'll often find that there's a captain's safe and access to the storage as well. So you can see the captain's locker here. Just rob everything that's in there and then go to the cargo hold and steal all that as well. As long as it doesn't see you do it, you won't get any bounty on you for doing so, so it can be worth just doing that. Now, you may well know about the puddle in Aquila City, so I'm not going to tell you that you can go over to this puddle and then just simply loot it all, because you've probably heard that already. But one of the things that I have discovered is that this puddle is fantastically just in range of your ship. So when you finish looting it, if you go into your cargo hold on your ship through the menu and then swap to your inventory, you can then transfer resources straight to your ship. Did you know that you can just press T to transfer all the resources out of your pocket straight into the ship? That's a fantastic little tip there. It makes life so much easier when transferring loot around. Now, when you've robbed from this puddle, if you found yourself overloaded, or if you just want to keep stealing from that puddle, there's another tip for you as well, because round the corner is a barracks. Now, if you go over to this barracks, obviously it's going to take some time, so I'll sped it up, head in there, and then you will be able to then just go to sleep in the beds located inside there. Sleep for 24 hours, and then you can go back and steal from the puddle again. So you can just keep stealing and stealing and stealing. Now, I personally find it useful to steal the ammo from the puddle, because obviously reselling to the vendors, they only have a limited amount of cash. But if you sleep, you'll find the puddle's rejuvenated, and sometimes the sellers are as well, so that you can then sell back to them. So you can steal stuff and then just go into Shepherd's and sell the gear back to him, or transfer the important resources straight over to your ship so that you can then just head off with them. That's a nice quick way of getting loot. Obviously, you can just keep repeating this back and forth, going for a sleep, getting an XP bonus, and then stealing. Now, across the way from Shepherd's is also this bar, and the same logic applies here. Underneath this little rug in the corner there, if you get close to it, you'll find you can also loot the bar. You can just take credits as well as the drinks and other things in there too, and again, transfer them to your ship if necessary. Now, the ship transferring is actually useful when you're out and about on planets as well. So if you're like me and you're stealing everything in sight and you're constantly just over encumbered, then one of the things you can do is if you get about 250 meters or less range from your ship, you can then just go into the inventory of the cargo hold once again and then just quickly transfer the resources over. Obviously, you do have to be in some range, so you do have to be close to it, but you don't have to be right next to it. So this can really help with that last moment of looting stuff and sending it over. Now, you already know that you can transfer stuff over to your companions, so you can get them to carry things. But more excitingly, did you know that you can also do things like give them grenades? If you give them a single grenade, they'll actually get infinite grenades, so you can put them in their inventory and then select which things are equipped. You can do this with other weapons as well. So you can give them high-level gear, and they will then have infinite grenades as well as better weaponry, so they can really help you out in battles, although they're still not great as stealth, which is a bit of a shame. Next up is stealing credits in the Red Mile. Now, you've probably seen this video about basically pushing credits off the table at the Red Mile. There's various different tables in this area where you can knock the credit sticks onto the floor and then rob them. The problem with this is it's really easy to accidentally get alerted to the guards. So if you pick things up they can obviously get upset with you. What you need to do, and what I found, is the best thing to do is to head over into this office in the back, and there's a nice box here. Now, if you press and hold your pickup button, which is E on PC, you can then pick this box up, and because it's not in view of anybody, it's pretty easy to take without getting in trouble. Sometimes you'll find if you pick stuff up like this in front of guards, they'll think you're stealing and they'll come after you, even though it doesn't actually have any value to it in the real world, which is a bit of a problem. Then you need to find another thing that's kind of flat and that you can use to knock the credit sticks off the table. You'll notice that I've just picked up this water jug by accident. I actually didn't mean to pick it up. I was trying to hold it. But you'll see that it also doesn't have a steel icon on it, so it's actually possible to pick this water jug up without alerting anybody. Obviously, you could find something else similarly flat, just make sure it hasn't got the steel item on it. If anybody sees you do that, it'll cause problems. But then what you've got to do is just nudge the credit sticks into the box. The idea here is that we can then pick that box up and take it into a different room. So gently knock the credits on the floor, then crouch down and be very careful not to accidentally pick up the credits. I'd recommend quick saving regularly to practice this, and just pick the box up instead and then carry that into the toilet or somewhere nearby where nobody can see you. I closed the door here on this one and then took the credit sticks out. Take real care with this, because I found that the companion actually opened the door on one of these, and then a guard saw me doing the looting, and then I got in trouble. So little things to watch out for, but that's one way to get some extra credits in the Red Mile quite easily. When exploring, did you know that it's possible to land anywhere you want on a planet? You already know that you can land at various different locations that might be mission areas, for example. But if you go into the map and then look at a planet, you can then pick a point anywhere on the map, and then you can then just travel specifically to that place. This can be really handy in various different ways. One of them is when you're scanning a planet for resources. So if you're running around looking for flora and fauna and general resources on a planet, you're trying to get a maximum survey data of that planet for maximum value, then you may well find that it's a bit tricky to find all the different things that you need to scan. And one of the ways that the travel can be useful is going to different areas on the planet. You'll find that most planets have different areas, sometimes mountainous, for example, deserts, and lots of other locations. And in those locations, there's different sorts of creatures and different sorts of plants. And so you need to travel to each of those in order to get a full scan data. You can basically then just go and use this to your advantage. Also, what you'll see is when you click around in these different locations, you'll find a percentage completed. So this shows you a percentage of what's been scanned. So you can see in the savannah there, I've done 100%. In the forest, it was only 89%. So I know that I need to go to the forest to finish off that specific location. Now, obviously, once you're there, also killing all the creatures in sight after you've scanned them can give you a good XP boost. It seems mean, but let's face it, they're not real. You can just kill them and then get the XP boost, and then obviously loot their body as well. Then there are some tricks to doing this, because you can also use this basically to farm XP. You've probably seen some tricks around this already. It basically killing loads of different creatures will give you an XP boost. One thing to do is to basically tweak your settings before you do this. So change your settings to very hard in the gameplay settings, and then travel to an area. Once you're in an area, land on a planet that has a lot of flora and fauna on it, and show that in the resources section. And then when you get off your ship, just set it back to normal or very easy, or whatever difficulty you want that's low. So just go back into your settings and change them. When you've done this, the creatures should have already spawned at the harder difficulty, or at least the higher level, but they should be relatively easy to kill and to scan. So obviously don't forget to scan them first and then murder the hell out of them. And you'll get loads of experience points doing that, and you can basically just keep churning that through different planets with ease. Don't forget to turn down your settings though. The other thing is, don't forget to drink that tea. So as well as the tea I showed you earlier on, you'll get alien tea that also gives you a 2% XP bonus. Don't forget those XP bonuses from tea. Expand the British Empire.